Samson wasn't supposed to win the Olympia this
No,
year.
no.
What's up, guys, and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. First of all, I want to wish each and every single one of you guys who take their time to watch the videos of my channel on a daily basis a big thanks to all of you guys and a happy new year. So without any delay, let's take a look at the 8 weeks out physique update of Carlos Thomas Jr. And I have got to say, the man has got those godly genetics and unreal proportions. I can say that without any shadow of a doubt that Carlos can be the breakout star of next year. Because the man has the size, he has the freak factor, and on top of all that, he has such amazing flow, such beautiful lines, and unreal aesthetics. The only thing that is a bit worrying is that the legs have very little separation at this point, and that is the same thing we have been witnessing from Rubiel Mosquera as well, where his quads are just so damn massive, but they just don't get separated on the show day. And yes, I know 8 weeks is plenty of time, and with Patrick Tour coaching him this time, Carlos is gonna be drastically improved, because other than the legs, that's a world-class physique right there, by every standard. Now they haven't been posting any of his back updates, and that could only mean one thing. His back obviously isn't looking as good as his front or as his sides, which is pretty much expected, because the only one show that Carlos did back in 2023, the Texas Pro, where he plays behind Andrew Jacked and Hunter Labrada, a big part of why he wasn't really compared with either of those two guys for the first and the second place was first, his conditioning was not even close to either of these two guys, and secondly, he was losing big time in both the back shots. His back needed to come up big time even back then. So looking at Carlos's new training video, he is a strong guy, and he is pushing 4 or 5 on the bench. That was pretty impressive. So Carlos knows that winning the Arnold, that is just out of his reach at this point. So the man is expected to compete at this upcoming Arnold Brazil plus FIBO Germany, as well as Detroit Pro. And he actually made this announcement way back that he is going to be making his comeback at Detroit Pro. So that show is supposed to be his main event. Looking at this new update from the former Miss Olympia Derek Lansford, that will definitely make you wonder, why does his quads deflate so much on the day of the show? Even his 2023 physique, that just wasn't Derek's best, because his legs, they were looking so damn good and so huge just a few weeks out of the Olympia that year. And that is why Derek is just so confident going into this upcoming Arnold. He knows he isn't gonna make the same mistake, and this might be a bigger, more fuller version of Derek, and possibly his all-time best, because going for that extra 5% conditioning at the Olympia this year, that just backfired so badly, and he showed up with quite an imbalance and a disproportionate upper and lower half. Now most of us do not agree with all the statements that Chris Cormier made about Derek, but one thing is certain, Derek's posing and presentation for this upcoming Arnold, that is gonna be top notch. And the reason I'm saying that is because those are the best expertise of Chris Cormier. So this upcoming Arnold and the package that Derek is gonna bring, that is probably gonna be appreciated by all the fans, because it wasn't the best Derek at the Olympia this year. And the man is meant to improve big time on that look in every aspect. And the thing is, all of these top guys, Derek, Samson and Hadi, they are just so close to each other that none of them beating the other one, that is gonna be considered an upset. Next up is the update of Goodvito, who is now 13 weeks out of his first show of 2025, which is gonna be the Arnold Brazil. So Vito is definitely in that small list of the guys who are gonna be the dark horse for this entire upcoming season. And I have got to say, you can expect big things from him based on the rookie year that he had last year. And we are looking at a mutated version of Goodvito for next year, because he is already up to 300 pounds. And that too in a very good looking off-season condition. Now his waist is gonna be all fine as he diets down and gets rid of all the water that is holding right now. And just like Carlos Thomas Jr., Goodvito is a guy with an incredible X-frame because of those huge quads. And unlike Carlos, his quads aren't only separated, but they are also feathered like crazy. The hamstrings and the glutes were already some of his best areas when he competed against Rafael Brandao, Antonio Burton at the Arnold last year, and against Martin Fitzwater at Detroit Pro last year. Now, Goodvito just had the most incredible offseason of his pro career. And unlike some of us thought, that his best isn't up to the par. It looked pretty damn good, even in his rookie year. So Goodvito, in my opinion, is destined to step on the Olympia stage this year. And he's gonna put himself out there against some of the best in the world. So after the Arnold Brazil, Vito is confirmed for this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro as well. And possibly the New York Pro too. Next up, we have an update from Samson Dauda. So nobody can mess with that size that Samson Dauda carries, and he is probably the only bodybuilder in the history of the sport, other than possibly Big Ramy, who says maintaining 300 pounds, that is no longer difficult for him because he has trained his body, his metabolism to be in that range from all the hard work of the last few years. Now, if you have been following Samson Dauda for a while, you would know that he was very uncomfortable the first time he was hitting 300 pounds in the off-season. But now that this has actually become the stage weight for him, it is no longer a big deal. Now Samson Dauda winning the Olympia, that was probably the biggest moment of the year that most of the industry just did not expect. Because if you look at Samson's year as a whole, it was far from ideal, especially after his split with his former coach Milos Sarcev and all the backlash that he received on all of the social media across all the platforms. And I have got to ask you guys, how many of you actually had Samson Dauda winning the Olympia? I bet a very small percentage.
Samson wasn't supposed to win the Olympia this year.
No.
I had him winning. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, but I would think if you would have done a poll early or even later in the year, or even right up to France or after the press conference when he took his clothes off and said who's the top three and vote on in order, it would have been Derek and Hadi ahead of him, and it would have been by a significant voting margin.
Yes.
But Samson Dauda and his wife Marlena, they made history together. And every time he posts a physique update, he looks like he has leveled up even more. And committing to this upcoming Arnold as the winning Miss Olympia, that has already put him in that Ronnie Coleman's league. Because the last time someone actually did that, it was Ronnie Coleman more than 3 decades ago. Yes, some people might say that this was a big risk taken by Samson, but $500,000. I think that is worth taking the risk. Blessing Awudibu ended the year with a brutal leg workout and also revealed how his quads are looking right now. But there is just so much blood in there that no one can judge how much improvements he has been able to make. Plus, Blessing's bulk, that was just way different than the likes of Samson Dauda and Derek, who stay considerably lean even at the peak of their off-seasons. But Blessing, on the other hand, he became very soft. But if that is what allows him to bring a much improved version to this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro and the New York Pro this year, then let it be. Now, Blessing hasn't competed for more than 16 months, and this has been his biggest off-season so far. And we are bound to see some improvements. Hopefully he doesn't do all the smack talk that later he just cannot back up. Because looking back at his timeline from 2022, and he was courageous enough to post a one-on-one comparison with a guy like Nick Walker, and Nick placed third at the Olympia that year, while Blessing did not even place. And once again, the first show that Blessing is gonna do this year, that is gonna be the Pittsburgh Pro, where he is most likely gonna face Nick Walker again, and Martin and Derek as well. So hopefully we are gonna see a lot of improvements in Blessing's physique the next time he steps on stage.